is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
And welcome into Talkin Cowboys inside the SWBC Mortgage Studio. Cowboys win 37-18 on the road, and I feel like we just got home, Nick, because we did just get home.
Sounds like we just got home because our mics aren't on. We're not hearing ourselves through our headsets.
Well, just keep fighting
but
through
we'll
it.
just keep fighting through it, right? Hopefully we're on the air.
There we go.
There we go. That's why you just got to keep fighting through.
Just fight through it.
Just fight through adversity, as Jason Garrett always says.
Well, there was a lot of adversity last night to fight through, too.
It started early.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we got a little bit of a line change today on the show. Rob Phillips in for Bill Jones. Mickey Spagnola, as always, to my right. And a special guest today, the great Barry Church.
Yes, indeedy.
Joining us on the show with Brian out today. Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. I know it was a late night for you, too.
No problem.
Doing pregame, postgame. You got Cover 4 this morning. You got Players Lounge this week as well.
But he didn't have to fly home.
This is true. I was asleep about 6 hours before you guys did.
That was a late night for the guys, but I'm sure it's a little bit easier always when you get a win like they did.
Nope.
And we'll break it down over the next 45 minutes. 888-855-2297 is the number if you want to give us a call.
What time did your head hit the pillow?
6.
6?
Yeah, and then woke up in time for Jerry did his Tuesday hit on the fan, man. You got to be there for it, you know? You got to do it. The beat doesn't stop.
And with Jerry, there's always a story, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he remained in New York, and he was telling the guys that he was staying at the St. Regis Hotel, which is an old, elegant hotel in New York. And he said there's a lot of times when I have to do a call in the morning, they let me into what's called the Old King Cole Bar. And if you call it up on the internet, it is the most elegant, fancy-looking place you ever seen.
Like Nat King Cole?
Cole.
Oh, Cole, I got you.
Yeah, well, maybe. And anyway, he's in there doing the show in the morning, and they asked him, "So you little Bloody Mary?" He goes, "No, I'm gonna stick with the coffee."
There you go, with the pinky up on.
Yeah. So he was up. He couldn't go to sleep after that game.
He said he was in the mood for more than just coffee, but it was a late night.
Yeah,
and yeah. Now that's exactly what this team needed coming off the bye. They get to 5-3. They're back, or they remain on top in the division over Philly, who's now 5-4, and just. Guys, give me your initial thoughts. I mean, this game had everything.
Yeah,
some weirdness, some bizarreness. We had a cat on the field, which is just sweeping the nation right now. But overall, Cowboys, once again, a slow start, but they found a way, Barry.
It was definitely a slow start. I think was that the first play of the game he threw the interception?
Yes.
Yeah, first play of the game, threw the interception. But I loved how the defense rallied. I mean, they get to start within the 10-yard line. I'm thinking, it's going to be an easy 7 for New York. It's going to be one of those games, one of those division games, one of those slugfests. But the defense stepped up, and I think they held them to 1 for 5 for the whole day in the red zone.
Yes.
So the defense did a heck of a job there. We saw a lot from Sean Lee out there. I mean, he looked very impressive to me, at least, filling in for Van Der Esch. So, I mean, the defense to me stole the show, but I love how Dak fought back from that interception, rallied the troops. I mean, it was a great display of leadership by him.
Yeah, they certainly had a lot of adversity to overcome. And as Barry said, the defense allowed the Cowboys to be able to do that the way they played. And you were right, they were 1-5 from the red zone. The Giants ended up kicking field goals from the 3, the 7, the 8, and the 11. That's incredible, right?
Huge.
That they drove down there, but couldn't get more than the one touchdown. So credit the defense, and then credit the offense from keeping their composure. And it's going to be what's in my column when I finally finish it here this afternoon.
It's okay. It's okay. You have a right to sleep.
This is an indication of how good this team can be. When you play that poorly for almost a half, and then you can win 37-18. That's rather remarkable that you can turn it around like that. And if they, we thought they finally had figured it out against the Eagles, kind of put it together a complete game, and then they get off to this false start. And Barry mentioned the interception on the first play of the game. Well, actually, the first play of the game was the kickoff that bounced at the 10-yard line. Yeah. And Tony Pollard catches it as he's stepping out of bounds, and then they're starting way back there. So it was one thing after another after another.
And we've seen that, right?
Yes,
especially on the road.
And that's why they've lost.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they lost basically 3 of those games.
I mean, Barry hit on it. It's kind of that here we go again feeling. And I think I said to you in the press box at halftime, this is like the Jets game all over again in terms of just balls dropping through guys' fingers, turnovers, sacks, ending drives, everything that they could do to prevent themselves from getting off to a good start, they did offensively.
And penalties. Randall Cobb's got to lead the league in touchdowns called back by penalties.
I feel bad for my guy.
Another one.
It's like his 4th touchdown called back.
Yep.
I mean, that's unbelievable. You have that. You have drops on a wide open screen pass by Pollard. We mentioned the hold call on Tyron, and I still didn't see it again to see if it was real a hold. Sometimes he dominates somebody so badly that it looks like a hold.
Right.
Get him a mercy call.
Yeah, and it was just one after another after another. And then all of a sudden it's halftime, and you look up, and they're leading 13-12. It's like, how did that happen? So, credit for coming back. But as Jerry was saying on his show this morning, we can't keep doing that when we end up playing better teams. We're capable of playing those teams, but we can't start like that and think you're going to recover all the time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's right about that. You can't go out there against, the Patriots of the world, the Kansas City Chiefs and all those guys and expect to hold them to 1-5 in the red zone. I mean, that's just not going to happen. And those teams are going to capitalize off of those fumbles. We saw that Randall Cobb fumble. I don't think, was that the only takeaway from the game?
Well, it was the interception,
the
interception.
Then
they lost that fumble.
Yeah, we can't turn the ball over against a playoff team. So I'm interested to see how that dynamic will work going forward at this season.
Yeah, because what's the mindset as a player when you guys feel like you're probably more talented than another team, but it's the constant shooting yourself in the foot thing? I mean, how do you rationalize that? How do you get past it, I guess, is the question. Because the Philly game before the bye, that was a complete football game.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best
huge.
I think we'd seen them all season. And I didn't notice disappointment necessarily from the offensive side of the ball, but I think because I felt like they were getting what they wanted offensively. Zeke Elliott, the offensive line dominated up front. But when you're not able to cash in, how frustrating does that get as a player?
Oh, it's frustrating. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. When you're playing your butts off, you're holding them in the red zone like that, and you see your offense is just dominating. I mean, these holes that Zeke were running through, I mean, I could probably fit through a couple of those holes. I mean, but it's frustrating as a defensive player. I know that. But, the offense was able to rally in the second half. They were able to make adjustments that they needed to make. And I feel like New York never – throughout the whole game, I feel like the Cowboys just imposed their will on New York, especially offensively and defensively. But offensively, I feel like they imposed their will, especially in the run game. So if they can continue to doing that and continue scoring points, I mean, it's not going to be that frustrating for this defense.
Yeah. I was laughing. So before the game, I talked with a friend of mine that covers the Giants, and he said, the Cowboys will score however many points they want to score. He goes, it'll just happen. And I'm sitting there at halftime, and it's 13-12, and I'm going, okay, this maybe not was accurate, right? Because they're not going to score as many. And then all of a sudden they turn it on. And, boy, you're right. The offensive line played so well. Another game, Dak doesn't get sacked. I know he had to use his legs to get out of trouble a couple times, but still no sacks. And you can almost watch him in the pocket when he sets up and he's looking around, and you're going, okay, he's got something here. You don't even need to look downfield. You could tell his position in the pocket and how he's holding himself. That's like, okay, he's got a pass coming up, and that's what happened on that touchdown to Cooper.
That was
they
huge.
had to blow that coverage, right?
The
corner acted like he was in zone,
exactly.
And everybody else was in
everybody
man.
was in man. And that play, I mean, I'm surprised New York didn't see that coming. I mean, that's a staple of Garrett's offense. I know he's not the OC anymore, but that big time dig route about 15 to 20 yards deep. That's the mainstay since I've been playing here. Like, that's coming. That's the guy to have it play. But you said it right. When Dak was back there, his command and just his composure back there, he knew he had the play open, and he threw a strike right down the middle to Cooper, and he finished the rest. So, his composure in the pocket was outstanding this game. It has been pretty much all season.
So let's go back to that first interception. Did the safety? Do you think did the safety fool Dak, or did Dak not see where the safety came down into the box?
I don't think he saw him. I think he saw a kind of open grass over there and saw that slant kind of open, but I think Bethea did a good job of kind of hiding in the weeds behind all those.
Because he kind of was
low.
He
was kind of sat on it the whole time.
Because he was like I think he was a yard.
He was on the line of scrimmage
yeah.
almost, right?
I just don't think he saw him behind those behemoths, and he made a good play. Hat goes off to him. He made a good play, but our defense once again was able to rally.
And the Cowboys safety said, "We don't need no Jamal Adams. I can play this game." Xavier Woods, right? Had a nice game by him.
He had a heck of a game out there. And the interception that he had, I loved how it was a great play by him. He was in the center field, played it great. But I loved how Awuzie was able to funnel the receiver into his help. At that post safety spot, a lot of the times you see those deep fade balls going outside near the sidelines, and the safety can't really do anything over there. But he was able to funnel him to the numbers, which any good safety back there should be able to center field between the numbers. He did a great job of funneling him in there. Xavier made the great pick, got him back in field goal range. It was a heck of a play. And then you saw how he laid the lumber on young Danny Dimes over there later on in the game. He came to play.
When you played a rookie quarterback in the past, is the mindset if we just continue to hit him and pressure him, eventually there's going to be mistakes made? Because I think he had about 13 turnovers going into the game, and he hadn't played a full season either.
Oh yeah, he's been. I think he's tied for most in the league with 7 fumbles or something like that.
Yeah.
But when you're playing a young guy like that, you got to kind of lick your chops. That defensive line was getting after him. If they can disguise their coverages, because he hasn't seen everything. He's not a Tom Brady. He's not a Aaron Rodgers who've seen every defense out there. So if you're able to disguise your coverages and get him off his first read, you should be able to eat out there. And the Cowboys were able to.
It's almost like a boxing match, right? You keep throwing body shots. Sooner or later, the head falls. Mm-hmm. You keep hitting him, and his head starts coming down. And that's what they should have done to Sam Darnold. What was it?
I agree.
He's been on this for 3 weeks.
The third play, their third defensive play of the game? They blitzed Heath. On the goal line there. That's what they should have been doing against Sam Darnold, and they blitzed a lot more than I think we've seen them blitz this year.
They had Jaylon Smith in there blitzing or rushing off the edge, and like you said, Heath was in there off the edge, so they confused them a little bit out there, and they had him kind of with happy feet back there, not knowing where it was coming, and he was just kind of, I got to get rid of it, and they did a great job of that, and I agree, they should have done that against Sam Darnold.
Were you guys surprised, and maybe I shouldn't be surprised, Michael Bennett, I think it's 43 snaps in the game.
I was getting ready to print it out, and then I forgot.
I think he played a good number of snaps.
You're absolutely right.
And you could argue he had as much impact rushing the passer as D-Law or Robert Quinn in the game. What'd you see from him, Barry?
I was really impressed. I knew coming into the game he had a high energy, high motor type guy, so I knew Rod was going to fall in love with that because, if he doesn't loaf out there, you're one of Rod's guys right there. So I knew he had an advantage from that point, but the way he just continued to motor through and have that interior pressure that we've been missing out on all season was key for me. He was getting after the quarterback. I think he had a sack in that game as well. So, his presence was known. He was getting under the skin of Will Hernandez out there. He was just his energy out there. You could see it. Everybody was kind of just rallying around him. Every play he made or every play somebody else made, he was all around it. The juice was heavy. So I think he kind of brought that extra momentum, that juice to the defense that they needed, and they capitalized off it and they fed off of it.
He had 3 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for losses, and 4 quarterback hits.
Impressive.
And he would have had another one if he didn't get called for lining up in the neutral zone.
Oh, yeah.
Which I would like to go back and see because if the TV line was accurate, his hand was right on the line. It wasn't like he jumped past it. It's like, what are you looking at?
Did that extend a drive?
Yes.
Late? Did they score
that
off
was
of that?
That was a third down, I believe, if I remember correctly. It was early.
Yeah, that was the Latimer touchdown drive.
Yeah.
Offsides. Yeah. Yep. Early second quarter. But overall, he had a couple defensive offsides. But
his effort, you're right.
High motor.
Effort, man. And even when he got blocked, he just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. And he's not the biggest guy. He's 270, 275. But yeah, and I was surprised they used him as much at defensive end also.
Me too.
They subbed him in there for Lawrence for quite a bit, actually.
At left defensive end.
Defensive end.
And you saw him too, and D-Law will do it too, but that wide where he's almost like a 5 technique, I guess. I mean, where he loves doing that. We've seen him do that in the past, where he can kind of use that space to get to the quarterback. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's familiar with the scheme, Chris Richard, and he's been playing. It's not like he's not in shape. But it looks like exactly. I mean, it was basically watching what Tyrone Crawford gives his defense when he's healthy.
And I think this guy may be even better at what It's Tyrone was great, but this guy's I think at a different level. His pass rush, at least, anyway.
Oh yeah, I agree with you on that.
He really comes, and like I said, all you needed to know is there's the quarterback. You're supposed to go get him. Just and a couple times they got themselves in trouble. They were too aggressive when they ran those misdirection plays, end arounds, and they were all crashing in towards the quarterback and wide open spaces. But having said all that, the Giants only scored 18 points. I mean, that's just unbelievable to me. And the turning point of the game was that kind of 50. It was like a minute and 5 seconds where they ended up with the Blake Jarwin touchdown.
That might have been the momentum changer.
42 yards. And
the streak continues for Blake Jarwin at MetLife Stadium.
Get him the ball.
He's got 6 touchdowns, 5 against the Giants. He could just play the Giants every time, but he scores. The Giants get the ball back with like 52 seconds, and I'm sitting there going, okay, you got a lead. It's 12-10. Don't get fancy here. And on third down at the 26, they're going to throw a bomb?
I didn't understand it at all.
What are you thinking about, right?
And just chucked it up into double coverage.
And so for a team that had only scored 3 points, you gave up 10 in a minute.
And 52, that was a huge momentum shift. I didn't understand that. Maybe they thought, we can get some points before half, but the way your offense was going that whole game, I just don't think that would have been a smart move. I think they should have just ran the clock out and went into halftime, but Cowboys took advantage of it.
So that was a huge turnaround in the game. And then the other big turnaround is when the black cat came out, right?
You ever seen something like that? You've been covering football for how long?
I've seen, birds maybe on the field or something, or a squirrel. But I don't know if I've ever seen a black cat. Right? And a healthy black cat.
Oh, yeah. He was chunky. He was eating good.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why I said
a starved stray.
This dude was living in the stadium. This was no accident. He's just a stray off the, out of the swamps in the Meadowlands there. That was somebody's pet.
Oh, yeah. Well, you guys were there. Was a cat on there during play?
Oh, yeah. Because they were the Giants were going to our left. The cat was in the end zone at the right, and he's screwing around there. And Jason said this morning he finally told the official in front of him, he goes, how much longer are we going to do this with the cat on the field, I don't even know if they were aware. They weren't aware of a lot of things, and I guess they wouldn't have seen a cat, too. And true. Jerry said this morning, he goes, that was a scary-looking cat, too.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when they had the close-up of his face.
He was ready to play.
No doubt.
Yeah, but I don't know if I've seen a cat come on the field like that. That was different, especially since it was wandering around before they decided to stop play. But anyway, I think it was 7 plays later. They're up 12-3.
They went on a 10-0 run after MetLife Cat made it.
Well, actually, after that they ended up outscoring them 34-6, right? 34-6. That's
defense
unbelievable. So, I thought they brought the cat out to kind of jinx the Cowboys. It's like,
you think they brought it out?
Kind of jinxed themselves. Well, I don't know if they brought it out or not, but I mean, where'd that cat come from? He had to come down through the tunnel to get out on the field. Somebody had to see him. Guy was checking my badge. Why didn't he check the cat's badge?
I was trying to think, Barry, like in all the years you've been here, was there anything close to that? On just weirdness on the field.
In my 9 years of playing, I've never seen any like an animal come in. I've never seen a streaker, anything like that. I mean, that was pretty awesome.
It happens in baseball a lot, I think. And, you end up running around after something and you make a fool of yourself because you ain't going to catch the cat, right? There's no way.
That's what I was yelling in the press conference. Somebody just pick it up.
Yeah,
but I guess that's
make a fool of themselves in front of 76,000 people on national TV. When that cat starts darting, you got no shot.
No shot at all.
Right? You're just kind of hoping to kind of encourage them to kind of move towards one of the tunnels.
Let's funnel them over here.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly.
Did you hear the Kevin Harlan call?
Yes, I did.
On Westwood 1?
Yes.
That was incredible. He did play-by-play, basically,
that was awesome.
of the cat.
I heard that as well.
Good stuff.
Speaking of the refs not seeing stuff, what were you guys' thoughts on those pass interference calls? or non-calls.
I'm not sure they got any of them right.
Yeah, it was rough.
Right?
It was rough for them. The refs, I'm saying, it was rough. Man.
It was Shermer. He challenged one no call, right?
The one with Ingram, I believe.
With Ingram, and I think it's just reached a point now. I don't. Coaches just maybe resign to the fact that if it's not Saints Rams, it's not being overturned.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's got to be oblivious.
Yeah.
For them to do that. I mean, because if you do it in slow motion, everything looks like pass interference if you do it in slow motion. But that one on Ingram, I think they got there a little early, but you know,
because he kind of came through his back.
He did.
Right now, I know he reached over and got the ball, but he kind of came through his back to get there. Now the one on
the one they
called the one they called with the guy
Baker, I believe
it was Baker on Cooper. You know, he was kind of holding him back. He had his arm kind of arm barring him in there. But I've seen worse.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Seen worse.
Yeah,
Maybe the only one they got right was the one when Awuzie, the guy kind of tripped down and fell, and I didn't think he really pushed him or anything. But they at least didn't call that.
I'm interested in your thoughts as a DB because to me, it's reached a point where we've analyzed this so much that it's almost like the catch rule. Like, I'm not sure anymore. Now I'm second-guessing myself on every call or no call here.
I mean, yeah, as a DB, you're scared to even put hands on these guys. Yeah. I mean, like you said, the one with Cooper out there, you know, as a DB, I'm thinking, they're hand fighting out there. But I guess the refs thought otherwise. But, I mean, it's hard as a defender. I mean, you can't touch them past 5 yards. You can't hit them like you want to. I mean, it's tough for a defender out there. But I guess you got to, kind of adjust to the rules and make plays. Now, the best ones do it.
Except I just don't think they're being consistent.
That is true.
On how they're doing it. So how do you adjust? And if I'm a coach, I'm not even challenging pass interference anymore.
Oh yeah, I'm not wasting a challenge on that
because they're not going to overturn.
They're not going to do it. I was surprised when Shermer did it.
Yeah, this will be a one and done rule for sure.
I think so too.
Sometimes you just get so mad, you go, okay, I'm throwing the flag.
Right? And you're trying to get back in the game too.
Yeah.
All right, let's take our first break. 888-855-2297 is the number. We'll continue breaking down Cowboys and Giants next on Talkin Cowboys.
Essilor is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, helping fans see more and do more with our best vision solutions. Our lens technologies reveal a world more beautiful than you can imagine. For a limited time, get the Essilor Next Gen offer. When you buy the latest generation of Transitions lenses with select Essilor lenses, you can choose a second pair of clear lenses for free with qualifying frame purchases. Restrictions apply. Find a participating eye care professional by visiting EssilorUSA.com. Essilor. See more, do more.
Ready? Okay. Give me an S. S. Give me an O. O. Give me an S. S. Give me an O. O. What's that spell?
So.
Are we gonna win?
Not if we play like we cheered.
Just okay is not okay. Whether it's cheerleaders or your wireless network, AT&T is America's best wireless network. Best network based on GWS 1 score September 2019.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Join us November 9th on Tostitos Championship Plaza for the Salute to Service Plaza Party. Enjoy live entertainment, military ceremonies, Dallas Cowboys alumni autographs, and more. After the event festivities, the Star will be hosting the top 2 Madden players as they face off in the EA Sports Madden NFL 20 Club Championship presented by Spire.
So is that
admission and parking are free?
That's going to be on the big video board. You're going to see it.
It's in the plaza, so yeah, I guess so.
It is.
Those guys are going to get nervous.
I would too, yeah. But, I mean, these are high-level Madden guys, though, Mick. I mean, these guys are, like, big time.
I used to be superstitious. Like, I never played. While I was playing, I never played Madden because I figured if I got hurt in Madden, what if something crazy happened while I was playing Madden and my character got hurt or something, and then I was superstitious, man. I never played it.
Never played in all your years?
Never played it.
Wow.
I picked up my first copy of Madden when I retired, so it was 2019. I was like, let me see what this game's all about. But yeah, I never wanted any parts of that, man.
That's funny because every year when the Madden ratings come out, I mean, it's become a social media thing.
Oh, yeah.
Guys getting on Twitter, reacting to their ratings, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, getting pissed off. You ever played?
No. I played
I'm
some
shocked
sort
by that.
I played some sort of video game long time ago when they first came out with a nephew, and I had no idea what I was doing, and no, it was football, but I did play Pong. I was pretty darn good at it too.
Tecmo Super Bowl back in the day?
What was that,
I'm
Bo
not
Jackson?
sure what it
Yeah,
was, but it
yeah.
had the little button where you could accelerate guys or make them jump higher or whatever the deal was.
Yeah, I like it.
We're going back decades.
Yeah,
now.
that's what I'm
Way
saying.
back,
That's how
way
long
back.
it's been. But no, I got my own team to take care of. I ain't got to worry about that stuff. So next year there'll be an option to put a black cat on the field too. I bet.
It gotta be that way.
Speaking of superstitions, right? I get Zeke, and I think Dak said too, I'm not going anywhere near this thing. I'm
Zeke
not
said he's
superstitious,
allergic.
but I'm not. Yeah.
He said, I'm allergic
Yeah.
to cats. I wouldn't go and buy it.
Turned out okay. That's the Great Barrier Church. Mickey Spagnola, Rob Phillips hosting for Bill Jones today. Cowboys win. What was the final on that? 37-18.
18, because I had 37-20 after the game last night. And I was like, where did I get 20?
Well, Jordan Lewis with a late fumble return for a touchdown.
and score.
Yeah, now these takeaways are starting to come
They
for
come
this
in
defense.
bunches, and that guy's for some reason he's always around the ball. I feel like he's a magnet for some reason. Like every time he steps on the field, he's either getting a PBU.
He should go to Vegas, I think.
I think he's played a lottery. Somebody
throws him a pass and it goes right to him.
right in the chest.
But
Give
he's
him
there.
some credit, Mick.
No, I give him credit for picking up the ball the way he did on the run, right? A lot of times
Pretty
guys
athletic.
are flopping around and they boot it and kick it and he just scooped and scored. That was a good run too. That shows you what he can do. Yeah.
And, Anthony Brown was active for this game, but more snaps for Jordan Lewis, and so I think that's an indication that the coaching staff is saying, all right, when you're out there, you're making plays.
Do you think he'll relinquish this job, or you think it's his to keep?
Yeah, I was trying to kind of focus on the coverage part of it, but I didn't see him making a bunch of tackles, which means his guy probably didn't catch that many passes.
Yeah, must have been locking down out there.
Yeah.
Let me see what he had.
And, he's made plays, to Barry's point, when called upon. Go back to last year, Alvin Kamara did a nice job a couple weeks ago. Just,
Some guys have a knack for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, he did have 6 tackles, so he was around it somewhere.
Some guys are just, they might not be the greatest athletes, but they're just great football players.
Yeah.
And he seems to fit the mold of one of those guys.
And they looked like they weren't going to have Anthony Brown active, and then they changed it, and he was active, and they used him when they went dime.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
They used him in dime, but that was basically just about it. So, yeah, we'll see where that goes forward. But how about Sean Lee?
That's where I was going. Barry's guy.
Vintage Lee.
Played with him a long time.
Vintage Lee, man. That's my guy right there, man. I was excited to see him out there playing as fast as he did. I mean, he looked like a rookie again. The guy was all over Saquon. Any type of little dump-off pass. And usually that's where Saquon makes his yards. Little dump-off pass, make a guy miss, and he's off for 80. Sean wasn't having it. I mean, he closed the gap on him, made a lot of great open field tackles out there, showed the physicality. I mean, the guy knocked the rust off last night. I was impressed.
Tied for the team lead with 12 tackles. Jaylon Smith had 12, I believe. They both had 12. But he was back playing his normal position, right? He's playing the will, and that's supposed to be the guy that's freed up to chase the ball, right?
This is true. When we were playing, when I was here playing with him, I mean, that was his position. I mean, he was the lineman wasn't getting up to him, so he was out there free ranging, basically making every play out there. And it looked like he went back to that. I mean, no lineman got up onto him, so it was a great job by Bennett down there and those boys to keep the lineman off of him, and he was able to flow and play free and make plays for this team. And I was highly impressed by his play last night.
And then he played the nickel, and you know, he was all over the place.
Yep.
So and then the one play they gave up was to Saquon on the screen, and they all kind of bid on whatever, and there was only one guy over there,
and he had
blockers. They had three blockers out front, and then he did his thing. But the next time they tried it, Sean Lee goes, "Oh no, you ain't fooling me again."
Not twice,
right?
It was funny because I was just looking at the box score before Saquon's big catch and run, and I think they'd allowed 34 total yards against him. I mean, I don't know if you can defend a player of that caliber much better than they did.
I'll tell you what. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, to your point, Barry, Jason was on the Fan this morning and talked about Sean in space and what he was able to do. And he really was doing that against Philly, too, when Leighton went out as well. Which is so key against a guy like Barkley.
Man, this defense did a great job of gang tackling out there yesterday, I believe. I mean, there was solo tackles out there, but for the most part, I mean, you saw 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 hats at the ball at one time, just picking apart these guys. And at the end of the night, I just don't think New York wanted any parts of it. I mean, they were taking a lot of hits. I mean, they frustrated them. Will Hernandez was trying to swing on everybody. So, I mean, they got under their skin, and they played a good brand of football last night.
That guy got away with murder.
He did.
If you could have murder on a football field.
It got chippy,
because he was the instigator of all that stuff, and he never got called for anything.
Pushing people, everything.
Called Xavier Woods for taunting.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
We were looking for a replay. Like, did he throw a punch or something? But I didn't see. I mean, he shoved back, right? Maybe he said something. I don't know.
The head referee had him kind of cordoned off, and I know he was yelling, but taunting. And it wasn't that guy that called it. It was the guy standing way over there.
Yeah, I didn't understand that one. They were missing a lot of things yesterday.
I asked one of the doctors after the game because there were so many personal fouls. I said, "Did you guys get any personal fouls called on you? Did you shove anybody out of bounds?" I mean, goodness gracious.
That was a ridiculous little segment they did right there.
So one of the stats after the game, Cowboys defense, they allow 5 of 16 third down conversions. On the season, they're holding opponents 27 of 96. That's 28% completion percentage on third down.
And it was 26%, so it went up in that game because they gave up 31%.
Second lowest in the league. And Barry, I mean, I think when we've talked about this defense all year long, there haven't been that many games where I feel like they've played up to their own standard. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, man, what's the ceiling for these guys if they can put it all together consistently, right?
If they can do it consistently, I mean, this to me is a top 5 defense, but they got to do it consistently. We've seen like last week they have the capabilities of rushing the passer and making things happen. And we just haven't seen it on a consistent basis. Now maybe with Bennett being there and bringing that juice to that defense, maybe we'll start to see it on a consistent basis. But if they can get that done, I mean the sky's the limit. I mean they got the secondary, they got all the pieces to be a great defense, a top 5 defense. They just need the consistency, and I think it'll happen.
I think Bennett's sort of like Blake Jarwin. He'd like to play the Giants all the time. I went back and looked at the stats from the 2 games he played with the Eagles against the Giants last year. He had 82 snaps. He had 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for a loss, and a forced fumble in the 2 games against the Giants. And I was thinking, well, it's a different quarterback. And I'm going, no, it's the same offensive line. Mm-hmm. So he should be productive. I missed my gut feeling by a sack, right?
What was your gut feeling?
That he was going to get two sacks.
Oh, yeah?
And he got one. Money. And I think he had another one that got called back maybe he did something wrong. I can't remember if it was the offsides or in the neutral zone.
You know who also stepped up great for interior rush was Malik Collins.
Yes. And he's been doing that.
And these past couple of weeks, he's kind of turned it up a notch. And he's kind of like, hey, don't forget about me, guys. I'm still here. And he looked great out there. I mean, he had interior pressure when he wasn't sacking the quarterback. He was in the quarterback's face, causing errant throws. So he played his butt off yesterday as well, man. So shout goes out to Malik Collins, man. Played great.
Let's see what old Malik's line was in the game here.
I feel like his best game might have been, to your point, Barry, the Philly game right before the bye.
Yeah. And so he had 2 sacks, or 2 tackles, a sack, a tackle for a loss, a quarterback hit. So, yeah, he was pretty active in the middle there.
And Dorrance Armstrong with a late sack as well.
Was that his first sack of his career?
I
think I might have heard that.
Was the rookie inactive yesterday?
Joe Jackson and Tristan
They were
Hill.
both inactive?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would imagine Bennett kind of played for both of them.
That's true. I wonder if you think he'll see the field the rest of this year, Tristan?
He's going to have to be more productive.
Yeah.
And I think with Bennett here, I think it's going to be tough if everybody stays healthy. So, and he needs to grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
21 years old.
I hope he can get out of Rod's doghouse there.
Don't be showing up late for anything.
I forgot.
Anything, especially the first practice after a bye. I mean, come on.
And it's your rookie year.
It's your rookie year. Yeah.
You know, it went back to remember when we were in training camp, I can't remember who did what, and I said, he's one of the expendables. If you're expendable, you can't screw up
at all.
Because they will expend you.
Yeah.
You're out, right? And so, yeah, now he's not, but sometimes guys just a little too young to understand what this league is all about.
Yeah,
my understanding, he just got there in time for the charter on Sunday.
Oh.
How do you live your life that way?
You can't, especially a rookie year. You got to be
I would have been
citizen.
there when they said the line opened at 11:45 for a 1:00 start departure. I'd have been there at 11:46.
I mean, you got to be.
I'd have been there the first one.
Goodness.
I mean, I'm paranoid enough because they ain't waiting for me, right?
I get paranoid about traffic every time.
Back in the Valley Ranch days, the airport was right there.
Right.
Now they're coming from Frisco, right? So, I mean, you got to leave yourself enough time. You got to know when to get there, especially after making that mistake of being late right after the bye week. So, it's not a good look, man. Back to back. It's not a good look.
You've been a young player playing for Rod. What's line one for playing? Well, I mean, his demands for a young player. What does he tell guys?
Pretty much the only thing he tells even the veteran guys, man, do not loaf on my field. If you loaf on that field, and that's why I think Bennett is such a great fit for him because he's a high motor guy. He doesn't loaf. He gets after the quarterback and doesn't complain about it. But back to Marinelli, I mean. He hates loafing with a passion. If you're on there and you getting his loafs are considered getting passed up by a teammate, like if you're hustling and then it has to be in your same position group. Like if a D-back passes up a D lineman, I mean that's not a loaf. But if another D lineman passes you up, that's a loaf. If you have a speed change, that's a loaf. If you're sitting on the ground and not getting off the ground like it's a hot plate, that's a loaf. I mean, so I mean, he's preaching that each and every day. Don't loaf. I mean, we're breaking film down from practice, saying, "Oh, that's a loaf. That's a loaf." I mean, he's counting them out. I mean, it's great. But he gets those guys rolling. I mean, and when he first came in here, I think it was 2013 maybe.
Yeah.
And we had a pretty bad defense. But that next year when we made the playoffs, I mean, we took leaps and bounds, and that was just because of Rod instilling that hustle into us, not to loaf. Don't play for the name on the back of your jersey type deal. And he got us flying around to the ball. And from there on, I feel like he kind of just got the defense going in that direction where you see 4 or 5 hats at the ball, not just one. And I think that goes to credit to Rod Manelli's coaching ability.
And I think Chris Richard has adopted. I mean, he probably had it already, but they fit together pretty well.
All right, good enough. Good stuff, Barry. All right, we'll take one more break. Oh, we're almost out of time. Back to wrap things up next on Talkin Cowboys.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys and your favorite football team. Get yours today in the Stadium Pro Shop or at Stetson.com.
Ready? Okay. Give me an S. S. Give me an O. O. Give me an S. S. Give me an O. O. What's that spell?
So.
Are we gonna win?
Not if we play like we cheer.
Just okay is not okay. Whether it's cheerleaders or your wireless network, AT&T is America's best wireless network. Best network based on GWS One score September 2019.
Essilor is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, helping fans see more and do more with our best vision solutions. Our lens technologies reveal a world more beautiful than you can imagine. For a limited time, get the Essilor Next Gen offer, where you buy the latest generation of Transitions lenses with select Essilor lenses. You can choose a second pair of clear lenses for free with qualifying frame purchases. Restrictions apply. Find a participating eye care professional by visiting EssilorUSA.com. Essilor. See more, do more.
So, you're shopping, and that's when you see it. Aisle 23. Dr. Pepper stacked from top to bottom as far as the eye can see. The phrase too good to be true comes to mind, yet there it is. A rich, delicious Dr. Pepper paradise. Wait, did that can of Dr. Pepper just open itself for you? They all are. As if to say, so nice to treat you. And even though it feels weird to talk to a can, you pick one up and say, it's so nice to be treated. Dr. Pepper, so nice to treat you.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
So if you get to jackblack.com, Jack Black made Santa approved. The big guy knows a lot about keeping his beard groomed and looking season ready. But Jack Black knows even more. Free Supreme Cream, 2.6 ounces with your $60 purchase. Use the code BEARD. Go to getjackblack.com.
Way to go, Mick.
There it is.
That's the best part of our show, Barry. We don't know where this is going to go most of the time with these reads.
But this is a good read. I didn't have to ad lib.
Man, it's almost holiday time, huh? They got the holiday reads out.
Yeah, already, huh? I guess it is Thanksgiving coming up.
The stores already had Christmas stuff in before even Halloween.
I did see some Christmas lights.
I was like, seriously? We haven't even got to Thanksgiving yet.
This is true.
It's coming up fast, though. As you said, there's a quick stretch of games coming up, and they got to be ready. I mean, this is a short week. Barry, how do you, if you play a game like this last night, how do you try to get your body ready? Now, it is a Sunday night game, but how do you approach this week with Minnesota coming up?
So for this week, I'd still approach it the same type of way as if it was a Sunday night, or if it was if we played on Sunday and we came back around on a Sunday. It's still a nice little chunk of time in between. But those Thursday night games, those are the ones that'll get you scratching your head like, wow, man, we got to go right back out there and do this. And I believe that's the next one after this.
Well, they'll play Minnesota, then at Detroit, and then at New England. It's a late afternoon start, and then you get back real late probably. It's a long flight. Yeah. And then you got to play Thursday.
Yeah, now that transition right there is going to be tough. Well, it was always tough for me. Just seeing you have your bumps and bruises. You don't really get over your bumps and bruises till about Thursday. But that day you're expected to play a game. So I expect the coaches to kind of take the load off of them a little bit, just to get ready for this Thursday night game. But for this little stretch they have coming up, I feel as though they'll have a long enough break to get their bodies right and their mental capacity right to deal with the Minnesota team coming in here. And that's going to be no slouch. I mean, they got Dalvin Cook back there running the best he's ever run. They got Diggs. I don't believe Thielen might play, but I'm not sure. But Diggs is enough. I mean, he's over there. He's an explosive weapon in his own. And Kirk Cousins. I mean, a lot of people were sleeping on him early in the season, but he's kind of turned the page a little bit, and he's been playing well. So, and their defense is always coming to play no matter who they play. So, that's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it. So I know you guys are going to be there. So, I mean, it's going to be an electric game.
Zim will have them fired up for this one. I guarantee you that, right?
He was old Cowboys coach, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He'll be fired up for this one for sure.
Matter of fact, Zim and I first met when he was a graduate assistant at University of Missouri.
There it is.
Is that right? I didn't know he coached there.
For like a year or two, I want to say around 78 maybe, something like that. And that's where he got his coaching start, yeah.
You got Terrence Newman coming back. He's a coach under.
That's right.
Yeah. Terrence
Newman.
He knew.
Oh man, a lot of years. I mean, a lot of knowledge.
It's going to be a great reunion.
Absolutely.
And it's the Vikings, so everybody will be talking about the Hail Mary. Because anytime they play the Vikings, the Hail Mary comes up, right?
This is true.
Barry, you've been on the Happy Hour show with us. And that was a great story by Drew Pearson.
With Drew?
I think 10 minutes talking, just broke it all down. And I feel like I heard that story a million times, but he told it in depth. And you're writing a story about that,
I did for the Game Day magazine. Yeah, I kind of went back and got all these interviews I did with either Staubach or Drew and kind of put it together. And then tied it into the display here at the Star with the 36 frames of the play draped down between the staircase here.
Very cool.
That's what that. I always wonder what that is. That's what
You didn't
really
focus on it?
No, I saw like the 88, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. But I didn't know that's. Oh,
they finally, and it took some deal because NFL Network didn't have like the shot of the play they needed. So they went back to, I believe it was CBS was doing the game, and they still had it in their archives.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
So they took it frame by frame, and no one knew how many frames, so I had to walk up and down the steps counting and make sure I had it right. But there's 36 pictures up there.
Oh, that's pretty sweet there.
Yeah.
That's creative, man.
That is.
And you
Spare
know,
no expense around here.
And just to kind of tease it, so Drew said that the night before the game when he was sleeping, he had a dream that he caught the winning touchdown, and he threw the ball in the stands, which back then was a $150 fine. I don't know what it is now. If you
cost me about $5,000 last time I did it.
Okay, he said, he goes, well, if I do anything good in this, I'm going to follow my dream, right? So he scores, and he doesn't think twice, and he throws the ball, but there was no stands where he threw it, and it went past the scoreboard into the parking lot. And to this day, no one's ever claimed that they've got the ball. It's never been found again.
It's in somebody's trophy case.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But if you had it, I mean, that would be worth a lot, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Be on the lookout for your story, right?
Yes, absolutely. In the Game Day magazine.
Cover 4, Players Lounge. Barry Church doing great work around here. Thanks so much for joining us.
This was great. Thanks for being with us.
That was awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Cowboys win. It's a Victory Tuesday here at the Star, and the break is next. Thanks for joining us.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?